Because we will know in previous sections of the labs, we have covered the heat transfer, different apparatus like how to measure the thermal conductivity of the solid, liquids and gases. Then we have gone for the measurement of the heat transfer in case of the heat exchanger, different apparatus like shell and tube heat exchangers, concentric heat exchangers, plate heat exchangers, spiral heat exchangers, etc. In addition, we have performed the convection heat transfer process in case of the flat plates, fin tubes, and different sections of fin tubes include cylindrical tubes, rectangular tubes and other different shapes as well. Then we have gone for the radiation apparatus. In case of the radiation unit available, we have performed different experiments for the validation of the Stephan-Boltzmann law, and we have covered different concepts with the absorption in case of the radiation unit, we have covered the Stephan-Boltzmann law validation, and we have also covered the emissivity of light with respect to the low pass filters and medium filters and dark filters as well. Then we have gone for the concept of the absorptivity, transmittivity and reflectivity as well. This was our demo of the heat transfer lab. Now we will go for the refrigeration and air conditioning lab. So you can say in case of the refrigeration and air conditioning, we will be covering 4 different apparatus. I will be delivering the demonstration of 2 apparatus, that will be demonstration unit of the refrigeration and similarly for the air conditioning as well. After this, we will go for the refrigeration compression system, and then we will go for the heat ventilation and air conditioning system experimentation as well. Then we will also go for the vapor absorption system cycle as well for the experimentation process. So first of all, I will go for the demonstration of these apparatus one by one, and then we will perform the experiments for them. First of all, this is your demonstration for the refrigeration case. In this case, we cannot perform any experiment. But first of all, we will study what are the basic and main components of the refrigeration case. This is the compressor, and you people know this is the cross-sectional view of the cut view of the compressor as well. There are different types of compressors, rotary compressors, reciprocating compressors as well, that are available within the market. And this section is called evaporator. Basic purpose of evaporator is to provide the cooling effect within the enclosed environment. In other words, we can say that this section will absorb heat from the required unit and provide the cooling effect. This section is called compression unit. Main purpose of this unit is to compress the refrigerant and to increase its temperature. This section is called condenser section. Main purpose of the condenser section, as the name represents, is that it will spread heat within the environment, okay, at high pressure. So another fourth component that is very important is known as expansion valves, or you can say thermostat expansion valve or throttling valves, or it can also be present within the system in the form of capillary tube. Here you can see here, please look here, this is the capillary tube section. This is the fourth most important section of the expansion valve. So in all the refrigeration units, there are four main components. First one is the compressor, second one is the condenser, third one is the expansion valve, and fourth one is the evaporator. Okay, now I will explain the basic working principle of the refrigeration system, and it is of the domestic use as well. In case of the not only domestic application but also at our homes it is also available. So let's start its working principle. First of all, this is our compressor. Compressor is of different types like reciprocating compressor or the rotary compressor as well. The main purpose of compressor is to compress the gas, and here in this case what will be the gas? It will be the kind of refrigerant we will be using in our apparatus. For example, in this case normally we use R134A and also other different refrigerators as well. So refrigerant is of the most importance because it will provide the cooling effect. Refrigerant has the proper melting temperature, boiling temperature, and similarly it will have a triplet point, the point where it will absorb the heat and the point where it will spread the heat. Okay, so first of all let's start from the compressor. Refrigerant from the evaporator section will come to the compressor through this section. Okay, because in case of evaporator, you people know that input of compressor will be low pressure liquid. After absorbing heat from the evaporator, this is the outlet of evaporator, and outlet of evaporator will be low pressure vapors of refrigerant. Okay. So these low pressure vapors of refrigerant will come to the compressor. So inlet of compressor is the low pressure vapors. Compressor will compress the refrigerant. It will increase the pressure and obviously temperature of the refrigerant as well. So what will be the outlet of the compressor? You can see here that outlet of compressor is represented with the red color. That means it will be of high pressure and high temperature. So refrigerant coming out of compressor will be high pressure, high temperature refrigerant, and it will be in vapor form. Okay. So after coming out of the compressor, our refrigerant in vapor form will be going through these condenser coils. Okay. Main purpose of the condenser coils is to spread heat within the environment. So this high pressure, high temperature refrigerant in vapor form will lose heat within the environment, and now it will be high pressure but low temperature refrigerant. High pressure and low temperature refrigerant. So coming out of the condenser coils, our refrigerant will be in low pressure vapors, high pressure vapors but at low temperature. Now we will pass our refrigerant through the expansion valves. This expansion valve normally uses of three types. It can be capillary tube, kind of capillary tube of different cross sections, or it can be a expansion valve, thermostat expansion valve, or it can be a capillary tube action or the throttling valve action as well. So what is the purpose of expansion valves? Purpose of expansion valves is to pass high pressure, low temperature refrigerant through it. Cross section of the capillary tube you can see here, please zoom in. It is very small diameter. So expansion will take place through a capillary tube of very small diameter, and what will happen as a result? As a result, our high pressure, low temperature refrigerant will now be converted into the low pressure, low temperature liquid refrigerant. So what is the output of the capillary tube or expansion valve? Output, or you can say the outlet of the expansion valve or capillary tube will be low pressure, low temperature liquefied refrigerant. Now this refrigerant will be the input of evaporator section. Okay, so it will go to the input of the evaporator, and here it is of low pressure, low temperature liquefied refrigerant. After absorbing heat from the inside environment of the evaporator section, it will absorb heat. After absorbing heat, it will be low pressure, high temperature vapor refrigerant. So outlet of the evaporator will be low pressure, high temperature vapor refrigerant, and again it will go to the compressor inlet and so on. So this is the complete working cycle of your refrigeration unit. For all kind of refrigeration units that are either domestic use, industrial use, or the recreation vehicle use, even home use as well. Okay, so this was our refrigeration apparatus demonstration. Now we will go for the demonstration of the air conditioning trainer. So this was the demonstration of the refrigerator. What was the experiment to demonstrate the working of the refrigeration process? Working principle, it operates on the second law of thermodynamics. What it is about? It is impossible to construct or devise a cycle which extracts heat from a cold body to hot body without the expenditure of work. So here we have provided the expenditure of work through compressor. So what is refrigeration? It is a process of reducing or maintaining a temperature of a target space or body below the temperature of its surroundings. Okay. So what is refrigeration cycle? Here you can see this is your condenser section, this is your compressor section. So basically this is your evaporator section. So refrigerant will absorb heat from the evaporator environment and it will provide the cooling effect. So here we can see the heat is absorbed by the refrigerant within the evaporator. So it outlet of evaporator will be low pressure, high temperature vapor refrigerant, and it will be the inlet of compressor. So what will happen within the compressor? It will convert the low pressure, high temperature vapor refrigerant to the high pressure, high temperature vapor refrigerant, and this will be the inlet of condenser. And what will happen within the condenser? It will lose heat to the environment, or outdoor condenser. After losing the heat, output of condenser will be low pressure, high pressure, low temperature condenser, and it will be in vapor form, and after passing through the expansion valve it will be low pressure, low temperature liquefied refrigerant, and this will be the input of the evaporator. So okay, so this is the pH diagram of the refrigeration cycle. You can see here this was the evaporator section, from 1 to 2 is the compressor section, from 2 to 5 is the condensation section where it will lose heat, and 5 to 6 is the expansion section where it will be liquefied, and again input of the evaporator. So you have to draw the pH diagram in this case. So this is the complete demonstration of the refrigeration. Students, this is the air conditioning trainer. Here we can see the working cycle or principle is just like the refrigeration, and you will see what is the basic difference. First of all, this is your evaporator coil, this is your compressor, this is your condenser section, and this section is your expansion section. So it consists of thermostats, valves, capillary tubes. Yes. Okay. Now we will start a demonstration. Output of what is the main purpose of refrigeration. Main purpose of air conditioning is to absorb heat from the inside of room, and absorbed heat of the room will be extracted to the outdoor environment from the condenser. Okay, so first of all, output of the evaporator will be low pressure, low temperature vapor refrigerant. It will come to the compressor section. It will be consisting of a refrigerant in the vapor form, so it will increase pressure and temperature of the working refrigerant in vapor form. Okay, so this was the input of the compressor, and output of compressor, you can see through this coil, will go to the condenser. So this is the input of condenser section. What condenser will do? This is normally found in the outdoor section. Condenser is always the outdoor section of the refrigeration unit. So it will remove the heat from the refrigerant and convert it into high pressure, low temperature vapor refrigerant. Output of the condenser refrigerant will be high pressure, low temperature refrigerant, and it will pass through this dryer. Main purpose of the dryer, and sometimes it also consists of the liquid collector as well. Dryer main purpose is to absorb the unwanted particles from the air and to improve the quality of the air. In other words, you can say it is the filter of the refrigerant air. Okay, so it will provide the filtration in one section, and also if any output section of the condenser consists of the vapor particle, because now we are going to liquefy it, so if it consists of any liquefied section before it will remove it. So in other words, it is a dryer. Just purpose of dryer is to remove all the liquefied particles. So these these high pressure, low temperature vapors will come to the expansion valve, and through the expansion valve or capillary tube action passing through the cross section, it will now be converted into the low pressure, low temperature liquefied refrigerant, and it will be the input of the evaporation coil. And again, evaporation coil is indoor. In case of refrigeration and air conditioning, it is always the indoor. So what will happen within the indoor? It will absorb the heat from the indoor and convert the low pressure, low temperature liquefied refrigerant into the low pressure, high temperature vapors. So output of the evaporator will be low pressure, high temperature vapors. That will be the input of the compressor section. So this is all the working cycle of the air conditioning drainer, and here you can see air conditioning drainer as well, to demonstrate the working of the air conditioning process and to calculate the coefficient of performance. So it also works on the second law of thermodynamics. We cannot extract the heat from the cold body without the mechanical work. So it works in two modes, heating mode or cooling mode. Okay, sometime in the summer we need cooling mode in the indoor unit. So in this case, because in summer we want cooling in our indoor section and we want to remove heat from the indoor section, so our evaporator will be acting as a cooling element as a indoor of the room, and condenser will be and condensation unit and condenser unit will be outdoor of the room. So it will be cooling mode. And what will be heating mode? In heating mode, it will be opposite cycle. For example, your condenser and condensation unit will basically indoor in this case, and evaporator will be outdoor in that case. So what will happen in heating mode? Basically it will reject heat to the indoor after absorbing heat from the outdoor from the evaporator section. So this is mainly divided into two parts, heating mode or cooling mode. So application of heating mode is in winter section, application of cooling mode is in the summer section. This is the block diagram, and you can see the working of the air conditioning system, how we can find the coefficient of performance, output over input. So input provided will be from the compressor and output will be from the evaporator. So in case of the coefficient of performance of cooling section, what is output? Output is the cooling effect, and what is input? Input is provided basically to the compressor. So this is the main formula, T cool over T hot minus T cool, and this is the coefficient of performance of heating section. And in this case you will see the output is the heating section, and again input will be provided by the compressor, that will be T hot minus T cool. Okay, so we will provide the manual to the students regarding the air conditioning training. That is my request to all of you, please study it. Students, this is our absorption refrigeration system. As the name implements that it will be consisting of the absorption system instead of the compression system. In previous cases, in case of refrigeration and air conditioning, we are using compressor. Okay, but in this case we have removed compressor. So let's check how the compressor is removed and what are the upcoming parts in that case. So in case of absorption system, this is the complete workbench, and it consists of the, first of all let's explain me about the evaporator. Where is the evaporator? This section or this coil you can see here is called evaporator. Okay, so this is the first component you can see here, evaporator is here. The output of evaporator will go to the absorber section. So these coils are basically absorption section, and input of absorption will be the input of the pump, and output of pump will be the input of this generator. It is also known as regenerator. Basically it consists of a burner. We provide heat within the burner by using steam, either by the power source, steam source, renewable energy resource, or any other fuel as well. So I will explain what is the purpose of burner as well. So first of all let me explain the parts. So this is your generator section, and output of generator section will be the input of the condenser section. So this is the condenser section of the apparatus, and after that you can see here it will be providing capillary tube effect as well, and it will separate our refrigerant into two parts, and one part will go back and other part will be the input of the evaporator section. Now let me explain basically how it is working. Now I will go to the working principle of the absorption refrigeration system, starting from the evaporator section. This is our evaporator section. As you can see here, it is consisting of water droplets and providing a cooling effect, because previously I have first of all performed experiment on it to check the validity of the experiment before going for that. So basically you can see this is your evaporation section. What is the main refrigerant inside the absorption refrigeration system in this case? It basically consists of ammonia and water mixture as a refrigerant. Okay, so this ammonia and water refrigerant will be going throughout the system and in different sections of the units. Sometime it will be a mixture of both, and sometime it will be separated and only ammonia will be the refrigerant to provide the cooling effect. So this is our evaporator section of the absorption system, and it will be consisting of only ammonia gas. Okay, so it will be basically low temperature, low pressure ammonia, and this refrigerant will be in the format after absorbing heat from the evaporator section and providing the cooling effect. It will go within the absorber. Absorber basically consists of a light hydrogen gas, because main purpose of absorber is to absorb that ammonia within the water and to create the aqueous ammonia solution, and hydrogen gas will be not mixable in this case. It is light gas, so it will come again and rise to the condenser section. So basic purpose of hydrogen gas is a light gas, and it helps in the mixture of the ammonia and water and to make the aqueous solution of both. So after it is liquefied solution. Okay, it is basically your liquefied solution of aqueous ammonia solution, and it will, after going from the absorption section, it will be pumped and will be pumped to the input of the burner section. So this is your generator or regenerator section. This generator section consists of the coil, and it has a finned environment. Okay, so basic mixture of aqueous ammonia solution, or you can say ammonia and water, will go through this generator, and we will provide additional source of heat through the steam or the electrical input power or the renewable energy input power or any other fuel as well. And what will happen? It will basically increase the temperature of the aqueous solution, because boiling point of ammonia is lower than water, so it will be converted into the vapors form. So ammonia will rise above. Okay, and it will be now the input of condenser section. In case of condensation unit, it will be, again you people know, high pressure, high temperature ammonia gas, and it will, after passing through the condensation section, it will lose heat to the environment, and now the output temperature of the condenser will drop out. And what will happen? Basically the refrigerant that will be ammonia gas out of the condenser will be high pressure, low temperature ammonia. Okay, now what will happen? We will pass out that ammonia refrigerant through the capillary tube action, but in addition it will also be consisting of some droplets of water as well, that were basically coming from the absorber and recreated from the condenser. So it is very necessary to separate these water droplets. So it will consisting of two parts. Major part, or you can say 95 or 98% of it will be ammonia only, and 2% of it will be water droplets, and we will put it as a input. You can see here as a evaporator as well. You please see here, this is the input. Okay, and this is the input of the evaporator section. Basically output of condenser is the input of this coil to the evaporator section, and other output of the condenser unit, we people can see here, is the input of the absorption unit. Okay, so it means condenser has the two outputs. One output will directly go to the evaporator section, that will be the purified ammonia, and it will provide the cooling effect only, and other output will be the water droplet that will go to the absorption section. Okay, so let me repeat it. This is your absorption section, and it will be consisting of water plus ammonia, and hydrogen gas will help in the mixture of both, and after that it will be the low temperature, low pressure aqueous solution of both, and it will be liquefied solution, and it will be pumped through the absorption to the generator section. In the generator section, heat is provided, and what will happen, ammonia will be evaporated and it will be going to the condensation section, and some droplets of also water will go to the that section, and after passing through the condenser section, heat is removed to the outdoor environment, and after this it will be low temperature, high pressure ammonia, and only small amounts of droplets of water that will go back to the absorption section, and main section of it will be the highly liquefied highly purified ammonia refrigerant that will be providing high cooling effect after passing through this capillary tube, and it will be acting like the input of the evaporator, and after absorbing heat from the indoor section of the evaporator, it will be again converted back to the aqueous ammonia solution within the absorber section, and now it will be the high pressure again and high pressure, high temperature aqueous ammonia solution. Okay. Now I will turn on the apparatus. Basic working principle is that we will turn on apparatus through this power switch. Okay, this is the heater switch, this is the electric heater power, this is the load power, and this is the temperature selector, this is the temperature indicator. Basically, when I will turn on the unit section, we will be providing input power to the absorber unit, and how much power, how much current or voltage we are providing within the this generator section. This generator section power will be coming here. We can convert it into the voltage and current as well through these buttons. Okay. Load heater is something else. I will not be using load power in this case. Okay. Likewise, like refrigeration unit, we can get heating effect and cooling effect. Similarly, in this case of absorption refrigeration system, we can also get the cooling effect and heating effect as the output. Okay. I will go for the cooling effect only. Okay. But in case if you people want the output from the absorption unit as the heating element to heat the room in the winter. So in case of the winter, I have to use the load power heater as well. Okay. So in that case, your evaporator section will be outdoor, and your condensation unit will be your absorption unit will be your condensation unit will be your indoor. Okay. So I will turn off this section. So that means I have to turn off the heater switch, and I will only turn on the power switch. That will be the generator power only. And this is the temperature selector. Temperature selector means we have different sections divided across the unit. Please see here, this is your temperature 1, where T1, yes, this one. Please see here, this is T1. T1 is the input temperature of the condenser. T2 is the output temperature of the condenser or input temperature of the evaporator. Okay. So where is T3? Okay. So this is T3 here. You can see here, this is T3. T3 is the input temperature of evaporator, and this is T4. T4 is the output temperature of evaporator, or in other case you can see the input of the absorption unit. Okay. And this is the output temperature of the absorption unit. Okay. And after passing through the pump, this T6 is the output temperature of the aqueous ammonia solution coming from the pump. Okay. And this is the T7 input temperature of the generator section, and this is your again T1 section, that is the input of condensation section. Another temperature that is very important for you people to know is the temperature of the environment or surrounding environment, that is the ambient temperature. So here you can see this is the T8, it will be representing the ambient temperature, and this is the thermocouple added here. Okay. So this is the temperature selector. I have values from T1 T2, T3, T4, T5, T6, T7, T8, T9, T10, 11, 12 and so on, and then again T1. So I will use the selector to know the temperature across the test section. So you people can see here the test section, the block diagram, working diagram, okay, how it work as a heat source unit, how it work as the cooling source unit, and what are the coefficient of performance formulas when it will work as a heating source or cooling source, and what is the heat generated and how we can find the work done in case of heat generation. This is the coefficient of performance, how we can find. I will provide the manual of this section, so you people can use the manual to find out the values. Basically we have to know the values of temperatures. So here you can see we will find the value of the different temperatures T0, T1, T2, T3, T4, T5, T6, T7, T8, T9, and by putting the values here we can find the value of coefficient of performance and lower heat and other sections as well. So please get the help of the solution manual or the lab manual and to more know about the separators of the absorption refrigeration system. So let me turn on the separators now. This is the power inlet of 220 volt AC, and I will provide it to 20 volts AC supply. After this, because I am not going to get the heating effect, I only want to get the cooling effect, so I will turn on the power switch. So it is turned on now, and here you can see this is the power switch output, and this is the temperature drawn 0.35 amperes, sorry, current drawn, and this is the power, total power provided to the generator, that is 84.1 or 84 watt you can say, okay, and this is the current drawn in amperes, this is the voltage drawn to 37 volts, this is your power 83.7, 83.8, okay. So I will put off this section, that is the load heater power. It only works for the heating section, because in this case of absorption unit I will be only performing experiment for the cooling section. So I have turned on the power switch, 84 watt power is supplied to the generator, and this is the selector temperature T1. Now what we have to do, we have to wait at least 30 minutes after turning on this apparatus to get the cooling effect from the condensation coil. So please zoom in here. You can see the evaporator coil is clear. Please look here. The evaporator coil is clear. There are no water droplets formed at the output of the evaporator section, and you will see after the half hour there will be proper cooling effect coming of the evaporator section, and water droplets will be coming from the evaporator section as well. As I am seeing here after touching it that it is providing the cooling effect, but at least it will take at least 30 minutes to be for the very efficient working. Students, this is our heat ventilation and air conditioning simulator. Very briefly described apparatus. If someone wants to understand the concepts of refrigeration and air conditioning, then it is the complete package. In this case, first of all, I will explain what are the basic components of the refrigeration or air conditioning simulator. Here you can see the first part is the compressor. You can see here refrigerant is R134A. So we are using the refrigerant of R134A. So this is our compressor section, okay, and basically output of compressor will be high pressure, high temperature refrigerant that will be in the vapors form, and it will be the input of the condensation section. Here heat will be spreaded to the outdoor environment, and what will be the output of condensation unit? Output of condensation unit will be high pressure, low temperature refrigerant in the form of vapors. So this low pressure, sorry, high pressure, low temperature refrigerant will, this is the basically the pressure gauge. These both are the pressure gauges. This is the pressure gauge and this is also pressure gauge. What is the difference in both? Basically, it is the pressure gauge of the condenser section when it will be, when refrigerant will be coming inside the condenser and it will come outside. So basically, it is to measure the low pressure of the compressor unit. So it is low pressure gauge here and it is high pressure gauge here, and it will be the basically attached at output of the condenser. So low pressure gauge will be connected at the input of compressor and output of condenser will be connected with the high pressure gauge, and this is the digital gauge you can see here. Okay, and refrigerant, that is basically high pressure, low temperature refrigerant. It will come to the absorber section. Yes, it is the collector section. You can see here the basic purpose of this section is the liquid collector. So what will happen here, if the vapors refrigerant that is coming out of condenser consists of amount of the liquefied refrigerant, then it will be collected here. Okay, and then this liquefied refrigerant, and this is the dryer section. Again, this dryer is working the same principle like the refrigeration case. In previous test session we have seen what is the purpose of dryer, to dry the air, to filter it, and to provide the specific humidity as well. So the output of this dryer will be the input of this flow meter, and this flow meter is basically attached to the before the expansion valve, or it is the attached to the input of the expansion valve. This expansion valve is of the kind of capillary tube as well. After the expansion valve, you people can see here the output of the expansion valve will be the input of the evaporator section. And what will be the input of evaporator section? It will be the low pressure, low temperature liquefied refrigerant R134A. Okay, so this is the simplified version I am explaining. Working principle will be the same like the previous air conditioning apparatus. So first of all, what will happen, this is the compressor unit, output from the evaporator. After absorbing the heat from the surrounding environment and providing the cooling effect, will convert the refrigerant to the low pressure, high temperature vapors refrigerant. Okay, so it is the input of the compressor. What is the output of compressor? It will be high pressure, high temperature vapor refrigerant, and it will come to the condensation unit and it will convert it into the high pressure, low temperature vapor refrigerant, and then this is the liquid collector, this is the absorber, and after passing through the expansion valve it will be liquefied, and now it is the low pressure, low temperature liquefied refrigerant and input of the evaporator, and it will provide the cooling effect. Now two additional things are here. Let me explain the test section as well. Now this is the experimentation duct. It will be consisting of, this is the fan section, if you can see here please, inside. This is basically the input of the ventilation duct. It is consisting of fan. You can see here the fan is attached inside. Okay, and this is the sensor that is attached at the input to measure the temperature of the input air as well. Okay, now you can see here, please see here inside. It is consisting of the fan here. This is the fan that is attached. You can see the fan blades. Okay, and this is the heater that is attached after the fans. So this is the heater section, and this is the another section you can see here. This is the humidifier section. Okay, and this is the humidifier. Okay, so this is called preheater to provide the preheating process. This is called prehumidifier to provide the humidification. This is the component known as evaporator. This is the component that is known as post heating unit or heater, and this is the post humidifier that is attached after the heater section, and this is the output section. And you can see here, please come, it is visible or not. This is the output section of the ventilation duct. So basically, why we have provided the heaters and humidifier section here, sometime we people know that in case of the air conditioning process, the air we get from the environment, it is of the high temperature, and basically we want to get the cooling effect out of it, and 4 major processes can be performed on this experiment workbench. You can see here, we can study the effect of sensible heat, we can study the effect of sensible cooling, we can study the effect of cooling and dehumidification, we can study the effect of sensible heating, and we can also study the effect of heating and humidification. Okay, so first of all, how we will study the sensible cooling only? If we want to study the sensible cooling effect only, then I have to turn off this heater and all the humidifiers and heaters. Okay, only the refrigeration unit will be working, that will be consisting of compressor, condenser, expansion valve and evaporator only. So it will be providing us the sensible cooling experiment parameters only. What will be the second experiment? It will be the cooling and dehumidification. So in addition to cooling, I will turn on the humidifier for the dehumidification process only. Okay, I will not turn on the heater. Keep in your mind, I will not turn on heaters, because 2 heaters are attached at the pre-stage and post-stage. Heater will be turned off. Only one of the humidifier for the dehumidification process will be turned on before the evaporator in the pre-section, and we can study the effect of cooling and dehumidification. Now the third experiment is for the sensible heating only. If we want to study the effect of sensible heating, then we have to turn off the humidifiers and turn on the heaters. So what will happen? The input we will get from the indoor will be heated air by the heater attached at the pre-section, and after coming out of the evaporator, again we will provide the heating, and output will be the sensible heating as well. Okay, in this case we will not be going to turn on our compressor. And fourth stage is about the heating and humidification. In case of heating and humidification, we will turn on both heaters and all the humidifiers, but we will not turn on the compressors or evaporators in this case. So this is very interesting experiment. All the refrigeration units or experiments can be performed on them, and these are all the temperature indicators, pressure indicators and heat indicators and other source indicators as well. So let me tell you people, this is the controller for the fan speed. Please see here. In this way we can increase or decrease the fan speed depending upon the 40%, 20%, 60%, 80%, 100% and so on. Okay, so this controller for fan speed. So this is duct 1 temperature and humidity 1 temperature. So what is the duct 1? This is the one of the temperature sensor attached and humidity sensor attached, and this is the another duct. Please see here, another temperature sensor attached inside and to measure the humidity as well. So the area that is between both of these temperature sensors and humidity sensors is basically your duct 1 area. Okay, and this is the one of the duct, and this is another duct that is coming after the evaporator. So the duct sensor before the evaporator and after evaporator is the duct 2 area. Okay, and after the evaporator we have this sensor, and after the heater we have this one more sensor. So the area between this temperature sensor and humidity sensor and this temperature sensor and humidity sensor is the duct 3 area, and this is your duct 4 area, that is between the that is after the evaporator and after the sensible heating, and this is your duct 5 area. Okay, so now let me tell you people, this is the temperature indicator of the duct 1 and humidity indicator of the duct 1. So you people can see here the duct 1 area is this. So it will be giving the temperature and humidity of this section will be represented here. Okay, this is the preheater power. If I will turn on the preheater, then its power will be indicated here. Okay, and how to regulate the power? This is how we can increase or decrease the power of the heater, that is attached here. Okay, if I want to turn on the heater, then I have to turn on the switch. This is the humidifier switch. Humidifier is attached here. I have to fill the humidifier section with the water, and I will plug in and turn it on, and it will provide the humidification process. This is the fan switch to turn on the input fan. This is the duct 2 area temperature and humidity indication control panel. Okay, so this is the preheater indicator. If I am preheating, heater is on, then it will be on. This indicator will be on. This is pre-humidifier error. If there is any error in case of the humidifier, then this will be turned on. This is the complete main switch of the apparatus. Okay, and this is the temperature regulator for getting temperatures across different sections of the refrigeration, T1, T2, T3. Likewise, in previous workbench I have shown you, we can label the temperature across the different test sections of the workbench. For example, before compressor, after compressor, before condenser, after condenser, before evaporator, after evaporator, before expansion valve, after expansion valve. All of these temperature and pressures and humidity values we can get in. So this is the duct 3 control panel. This, if there is any case in the operation of the compressor, then it will be showing error here. And if this is the post heating indicator, that is heater attached here. If I will turn on, this switch will be turned on, and this is the how to turn on the preheater, post heater, sorry. This is the temperature of the duct 4 and humidity of the duct 4. Okay, and this is how to get the pressure drop, and this is to turn on the heater. And similarly, this is the post humidifier, how to turn on and how to regulate the heater as well. And this is to provide the heat in the digital power as well. And this is the duct 5. Duct 5 is in between this and this cross section, and what is the temperature and humidity across this cross section. So this is a complete description of this refrigeration simulator. And you can see here, this is the heat ventilation and air conditioning system. How to draw the air conditioning processing on the psychrometric diagram. Psychrometric chart will be consisting of the different dry bulb temperature, what are the wet bulb temperatures, dew point, relative humidity, absolute humidity, vapor pressures and specific volumes. So I will tell you in the theory section how to define all of these key parameters. So the major parameter we can study on this air conditioning apparatus are sensible cooling and dehumidification, sensible heating and humidification, and how to draw the pH diagram on the psychrometric chart as well. This is the main purpose of this apparatus. So please, you can see here, and this is the flow chart diagrams and how we can So let me turn on this apparatus. So now I am turning on this apparatus. I will not be going for the sensible heating and humidification. So I will be only performing an experiment for sensible cooling. One of the experiment, another experiment will be cooling and dehumidification. So this is the main switch I have turned on. You can see all the preheating and post heating indicators are turned on. After this, I will check my fan is working or not. This is fan switch. I have turned on the fan, and you can see here please that fan is now completely working from the output section. So this is basically the input of the ventilation duct. You can see the fan blades are completely moving, and I am increasing the speed of the fan blades. This is set to the 60%. Okay, please come here. So first of all, we will perform experiment with sensible cooling only. So for sensible cooling, I have to turn on the compressor. So I have turned on the compressor switch. So you can see here compressor has started working. Our low pressure gauge and high pressure gauge are showing the pressure of, you can see here low pressure gauge is almost showing pressure of about 40 psi, and high pressure gauge is showing the pressure of about 145 psi. So now wait for the 15 minutes to get the sensible cooling effect. You can see here what is the duct input temperature, that is about 26.3, and what is the humidity at the input section, it is about 54.9. Okay, I have turned off the switch for the heater, and I have turned off the humidifier as well. Fan is on. You can see the temperature of duct 1 section is 26.3, temperature of duct 2 section is 26.0, humidity of duct 1 section is 54.8, humidity of duct 2 section is 59.2. Okay, and this is the temperature indicator across the different cross section of the workbench. For example, T10 temperature, T11, T12, T13, T1, T2, T3. So we will check it, because these are the labels that are provided across the input or output of the different working units like compressor, condenser, expansion valve, evaporators, etc. This is the duct 3 temperature. We can see the clear difference between the duct 1 temperature, that was 26.5, and duct 2 temperature, that is 18.3. So we have got about 8 degrees C decrease in temperature, or we have get the improved. So you can see the temperature is continuously decreasing with time. So we have to wait at least 15 to 20 minutes to get the exact values of the temperature across the duct. Not only this, you can see what is the temperature of T4 section. It is increased at duct 4, and pressure drop that is found across inlet and outlet is 26, and you can see here the post heater is also turned off, and duct 5 temperature is 18.1. As you can see here, about 18, almost 18, and this is the very cool environment. I can feel the cooling effect here. I cannot show you this thing on the video, but it is like just like the AC section, like the DC inverters we are using at our home, although it is not a DC inverter, but it is just a air conditioning unit. Video turn off करने. Students, this is another refrigeration test bench. I have already explained the refrigeration test bench initially at the start of the video, but main purpose of showing this workbench is that we will study some additional parameters, like what is the effect of different expansion valves and capillary tubes upon the evaporator working, and what is its effect on the cooling environment of the workbench. Basically, this apparatus was working last year, but because this capillary tube flow meter was burst out because of the high compressor pressure, I do not know what was the fault, but now it is gasless compressor and this tube is not working. That's why I am not showing this apparatus in working form, but I will completely explain its demonstration here, and I have already shown you people the air conditioning apparatus. That is basically one of the very important part of your HMT and HVAC lab. So if you will study that apparatus, we show that. I will explain this apparatus to you people, and the most advanced form of the refrigeration and air conditioning is this apparatus. Okay, these were just demonstration units I have shown you people. Okay, and this is another demonstration unit. So let's start it now. This is the compressor section, and refrigerant uses R134. It is always mentioned on the compressor that what type of refrigerant we are using. So this is the compressor section. Input of compressor will be coming from the evaporator. So it will be low pressure, high temperature, high. So let's start from the output of the evaporator. That will be basically your low pressure, high temperature, vapor refrigerant, that is R134, and it will be the input of the compressor. Basic purpose of compressor will be to compress gas and to increase its pressure and temperature. Okay, so you can see here the red duct of the compressor is showing a refrigerant that is of high pressure and high temperature. So this duct is indicated by the red color, and it is basically the input of this condenser unit. So what will happen within the condenser unit? Again, it will lose heat to the outdoor environment, and now it will be high pressure, low temperature vapor refrigerant, and you can see here the output of the condenser is cooled up as compared to the input of the condenser. That means output temperature of condenser will be lower than the input temperature of the condenser, but pressure will be almost same. After this, you can see here the yellow duct, because it still has small amount of heat, and now it will be passing through this heat exchanger section. This heat exchanger is plate heat exchanger. In this heat exchanger, what we will be doing? We will insert water from the outdoor environment. It will be cooled water, and it will go through this flow meter, provide its value, and after passing through this plate heat exchanger, this water will come out, and this water will absorb heat from the refrigerant. So output of this refrigerant after passing from the heat exchanger will be quite cool up. Okay, so after this it will move up to this flow meter, and we will measure the high pressure gauge value. I have already explained that high pressure gauges are always attached at the output of the condenser, and low pressure gauges are attached at the input of evaporator, at the output of evaporator. Okay, so output of evaporator we will attach low pressure gauge, at the output of condenser we will attach low pressure gauge. So refrigerant from this will go through this liquid receiver. Okay, and from the dryer section I have already explained the working of the liquid section and dryer section, and after this the refrigerant at low temperature and high pressure will now go through the expansion valves and capillary tubes of different diameters. Now the basic task of this refrigeration unit was to perform the experiment to check the cooling capability of the refrigeration unit with respect to expansion valves and capillary tubes of different cross sections. For example, I will be using capillary tubes of the 3 mm diameter and 6 mm diameter as well. Okay, and this is the external equalized expansion valve, and this is the internal equalized expansion valve. So first of all, when I will get the output from the dryer section or the output from the heat exchanger or the condenser section and passing, now we have to pass it through the expansion valve. First of all, I will pass it through the internal expansion valve, zoom in. After passing through the internal equalized expansion valve, now our refrigerant will be low pressure, low temperature, liquefied refrigerant, and it will be providing high cooling effect within the evaporator. So it will pass through the evaporator, provide the cooling effect and absorb heat from the indoor environment, and after that again it will be converted into the high temperature, low pressure vapors refrigerant. So I will check the different temperature indicators, pressure indicator values, what were the temperature indicators and pressure indicators values across the different input and output of the compressor, condenser, expansion valve and evaporators, and after that we will check what is the work done by the compressor, what is the work done by the evaporator, what is the cooling effect of evaporator, what is the work done by the expansion valve, what is the coefficient of performance, how much cooling effect we have taken out. Okay, so this will be complete experiment performed by the internal equalized expansion valve. After this, I will complete the experiment for the external equalized expansion valve, you can see here, and we will check what is the cooling rate now, and after this I will re-perform the experiment for the capillary tube of 3 mm diameter, and I will check what is the effect upon the cooling effect, and after this I will again perform the experiment for the 6 mm capillary tube, and I will check the cooling effect, and at the end of the experiment we people should know what is the cooling effect upon the capillary tube diameter and how it is affected by it, and what is the effect of the internal equalized expansion valves and external equalized expansion valves. These are different indicators. This how we can find the compressor power, it will be indicated here. How we can find the temperature, it will be indicated here across different cross sections, T1, T2, T3, T4, T5, T6, T7, T8, T9 and so on. T12 till T12 we can get the temperatures across the different input and outputs of the units. And this is the how we can turn on the evaporator fan, how we can turn on the condenser fan. This is the low pressure gauge, this is the high pressure gauge, and this is the thermocouple that is attached to measure the temperature of the condenser, and this is the evaporator to measure the, this is the thermocouple to measure the output temperature of the evaporator. And similarly we can measure the input temperatures of the input and output temperatures of the heat exchanger section as well. For example, how much water was at input, how much heat is improved at the output, and in addition how much refrigerant heat is absorbed by the water, and what are the output and input temperature of the refrigerant after coming from the heat exchanger. So this is all about the refrigeration test bench. So students, you can see here our absorption refrigeration system here. It is it was turned on for about 30 minutes. I have already explained the working of the absorption refrigeration system. I have turned it on and I have placed it. You people can see here the input power provided was almost 83 watt. So 83 watt input power is provided to the generator, and I can feel the temperature of the generator. It is quite heat up. It is quite heat up. Very heat up. ज़्यादा heat up है. Okay, बंद किया वीडियो, चल रही है. Students, you can see here, this is the T1 and this is the temperature indicator for the output of the generator. Where is the knob for T1? So students, you can see here, this is a T1 temperature So T1 is nothing but it is the output of the generator. It is quite heat up. You can see it is at temperature of 117.8 degree C. So it is quite heat up. Okay, and you can see this is the T2 temperature. This T2 is the output temperature of the condenser. So input of condenser was 114. I have 117. Yes, you people can say 118. So T1, that is the input of condenser, is 118, and after condenser heat is removed and it is now, you people well know, it is the high pressure. At the output of the generator it will be high pressure, high temperature refrigerant, and at this point what will happen, we will pass it through the condenser and output of condenser is at almost temperature of 43 degree C. So you people can see here 42.8 degree C. So that means almost more than half the temperature is now decreased at the output of the condenser section, and output of condenser is now high pressure, low temperature refrigerant, and it will be ammonia more than 98% and it will be less than 2% water, and this water will be going from the capillary tube back to the absorber section, and the ammonia, that is basically cooled refrigerant, and it will be now going from the condenser output to the capillary tube, and from capillary tube it will be going to the evaporator section. So let's check the temperature of the T3. This is T3, please see here. So T3 is basically the input of evaporator section, and what is the temperature of input of evaporator section? You can see here it is almost, yes, it is 8.5 degree. It is minus 8.5 degree C. So you can see here that temperature is below the freezing point of water. Okay, so minus 8.5 degree C cooling effect is achieved, and you can see that across the cross section of the, that across the cross section of the evaporator you can see that this is the cooling section. You can see the fog that is developed at the output cross section of the evaporator, and you can see these are the cooling effect evaporator droplets that are clearly seen here, and it is providing us cooling effect basically within the environment. So basically this cross section will be either the input of the indoor unit, or you can say the indoor of the refrigerator as well. So it is providing the cooling effect. Now let's check the T3 temperature or inlet temperature of evaporator is minus 8.7, and output temperature of the evaporator is, you people can see here, this is the output temperature of the evaporator and it is about 31.4. So that means at the output of evaporator temperature is increased. That means evaporator cross section has absorbed heat from the environment, and it is now your high temperature, low pressure refrigerant, and it will now go within the absorber section. This is your absorber section, and T4 is the input of absorber section. Now we will see within the absorber we have hydrogen gas, and it will make up the mixture of the ammonia and water. So you can see aqueous ammonia solution. So aqueous ammonia solution will be formed within the this absorber section, and this aqueous ammonia solution will be pumped up to the generator. So let's check what is T5 temperature. So output of absorber is at 43 degree C, and output of pump is at almost, this is T6. Output of pump is almost 39 degree C. And let's check what is the input of the generator T7. So input of generator is at 67 degree C, and here we will have the mixture of water and ammonia, that is of the low pressure and high temperature within the generator section. Basically aqueous assembly solution will be provided heat, and in previous refrigeration units it was the work done by the compressor, and in this case we have splitted it in the boiler section and generator section. Within the generator section we have a boiler that is filled up and it will provide heat, and we can see that at T8 what is temperature? What is T8? Yes, T8 is the ambient temperature. So ambient temperature now is 27.2 degree C. So output temperature of environment is 27 degree C now. This is T9. T9 is not here. So let's come to the T1 again, because these are not working. This is T1. So this is the output temperature of the generator, and you can see at output the generator has heated up the ammonia water mixture is separated, water is gone back to the absorber, and ammonia is gone to the condenser. After passing through the condenser, its temperature is now decreased from 117 degree C to the 42 degree C, and after passing from the condenser it is now passing through the capillary tube, and now it is the low pressure low temperature refrigerant in the vapors form. So this cycle will repeat again and again, and this was the complete working of the absorption refrigeration. Here the heat ventilation and air conditioning unit, the duct 1 temperature was about 28.3 and humidity was about 47.7. Okay, so I have turned on the apparatus for about 15 to 20 minutes, and after passing through the from this section to this section, because our heater and humidifier turned off and duct 2 temperature are almost same. You can see here it is 28 here, it is 28.8 here, but almost humidity is increased at duct 2. Okay, and this is the, please come forward, this is the temperature indicator across the compressor, condenser, expansion valve and evaporator, and all of these units are labeled at input and output, and please show them below. These labels are provided here, and I am not showing to tell you people where are these labels, because it will be quite lengthy process. And you can see here the input power of the compressor is almost, it is using 1.2 watt power. Okay, so it is using almost 1.2 watt power, and it is drawing the current of 5.5 amperes. Okay, so compressor is working at 1.2 kilowatt. That means it is now at 1209 watt. It is working at 1209 watt almost. So this is the power of the compressor, and you people can see here the temperature of duct 3. Duct 3 is the area of the duct after evaporator and before this temperature sensor. So this is the duct 3 area, that is after evaporator and before this sensor, and temperature is now decreased from 28 degree C to 16 degree C. Okay, and humidity of duct 3 is almost 82.3, and there is no error indicator of the heater and compressor. And this is the duct 4 area, because we have turned off the sensible heating, so that's why almost temperatures and humidity are same, and pressure drop across the apparatus is 25. And this is the duct 5 area, that is basically after the humidifier, and temperature is almost same. You can see 16.8, 16.8. although humidity is decreased from 81 to 79. Okay, now I will show you people that what is the temperature configuration now. Basically this is the temperature of the input of evaporator. Okay, the total amount of temperature that is decreased from 28.2 degrees C or the indoor temperature to the 10 degrees C, that will be the basically the input to the evaporator. So input of the evaporator section is at 10 degrees C, and you can see output of evaporator section is at 24 degrees C. So it means, and maximum temperature of the environment is 28 degrees C. So that means maximum amount of refrigeration effect is provided by the evaporator to the inside cooling environment. Okay, so after evaporator, what will happen? This thing will now go to the condenser. This is the input of condenser. Sorry, it is not working. Please leave it. Actually, temperature sensors are not exactly working. So this was the complete sensible cooling description. In sensible cooling description, input temperature was 28.2 and output temperature was observed to be 16.9 and the medium temperature was observed to be 16.3, and these are the humidity values. Input humidity values was 47.9 and mid humidity value was almost 80 and output was 79. Okay, now I will show you the value of low pressure gauges and high pressure gauges. This is the value of the low pressure gauge, that is about 40 psi, and this is the value of high pressure gauge, that is coming after the condenser, and it is almost 250 psi. Okay, so this is the pressure gauge connected after the evaporator, and this is the pressure gauge, that is high pressure gauge connected after the condenser. Okay, and this is the flow rate measuring tube device. Here you can measure the flow rate of the refrigerant, and you can see here that refrigerant is showing a proper ups and down within the within this flow meter tube, how much liter per minute refrigerant is providing. And please see here that the input coil of evaporator is cooled up, and you can see here these are the water droplets, these are the condensates, these are the condenser water droplets that are formed after expansion valve and before input to the evaporator section, that is attached here. And please also see here, if it is clearly visible to you people, these are the water droplets. Please see them. You can clearly see that inside the indoor unit of the evaporator, almost water droplets are complete. That water droplets are completely formed on the tubes. Now I will turn on the humidifier. We have studied the effect of sensible cooling. Now we will check out about sensible cooling and humidification process. So for that purpose, I have filled up the humidifier and I will turn on the humidifier from here. You can see here humidifier is turned on now, and I have set its value to the maximum to get the humidification effect. And you will see that after few minutes this humidification duct at the preheating section will be filled up with the humidity. Stop कैसे होगा? You people can see it that humidifier is completely working and humidity is created inside heater section and it is evaporating up. We see here, this is the humidity effect that is generated by the humidifier. I will turn on this apparatus for about 10 to 15 minutes for the proper values of the temperatures across the pre-section and post-section of the ventilation duct. Students, basic application of this demonstration unit, you can see that it is widely used in for the industrial applications as well, for the household applications as well, for the case of the domestic cases use as well. And you can see that recreating vehicles can also use it, and vapor absorption application system as it is shown here. You people can see here, it is almost used in the aircraft's refrigeration system, and these kind of systems that are compression refrigeration systems and air conditioning. So these kind of systems are easily available at our homes and for domestic use as well. And you can see here the basic purpose of providing humidity to the cross section of the ventilation duct is that sometime we want to remove the heat from the input temperature of the air. So for that purpose we have to turn on the heater section. So when we will turn on the heater section and provide the humidity, and after passing through the evaporation coil, it will be completely cooled up, and after that, depending upon the need, we can add the humidity content within the required environment. बेसिकली आप लोगों ने देखा होगा कि जो आपके पास डोमेस्टिक यूज़ में होते हैं, तो सम टाइम हम जब उसकी कूलिंग कर रहे होते हैं तो हम उसकी ह्यूमिडिटी को बिल्कुल कम कर देते हैं. तो ह्यूमिडिटी को कम करने का तरीका क्या होता है कि पहले हम उसकी हीट अप करते हैं, सेंसिबल कूल करते हैं फुल इन हीटर्स को ऑन करके. सेंसिबल हीट करने के बाद हम इनमें क्या करते हैं, इनमें सेंसिबल हीटिंग करने के बाद हम इसमें इनमें हम ह्यूमिडिफिकेशन करते हैं. ह्यूमिडिफिकेशन के इफेक्ट से क्या होता है, बेसिकली उससे ये होता है कि आपकी जो एयर का मॉइस्चर कंटेंट है वो इंक्रीज हो जाता है टेम्परेचर के अक्रॉस. ओके, और जब हम उसको एवेपोरेटर के अक्रॉस से गुजारते हैं तो उससे जो क्वालिटी ऑफ एयर है, आल्दो वो कूल अप तो हो जाता है लेकिन अर्ली कूलिंग होती है, लेकिन साथ ही में उसमें जो ह्यूमिडिटी कंटेंट है वो बहुत ज़्यादा होता है. तो फिर हमें क्या करना पड़ता है, उसे डीह्यूमिडिफाई भी करना पड़ता है सम टाइम. तो डीह्यूमिडिफाई करने के लिए भी ये अपरेटस हमने लगाया हुआ है यहाँ पे, यू कैन सी एयर. तो इसको हम डीह्यूमिडिफाई भी कर सकते हैं. या अगर आपने इसको ये ह्यूमिडिफायर आपने ऑन नहीं किया था और जो एयर आपने इनपुट से ली, अगर उसका मॉइस्चर कंटेंट जो है बहुत कम है, क्योंकि आपको पता है कि जो क्वालिटी ऑफ एयर है उसमें एक प्रोमिनेंट अमाउंट ऑफ आपको जो है ह्यूमिडिटी कंटेंट लाजमन चाहिए होता है, ना बहुत कम हो उससे ज़्यादा, ना बहुत उससे ज़्यादा हो. तो ज़्यादा होगा तो तब भी आपको हीट एनवायरनमेंट फील होगा, और अगर बहुत कम होगा तो तब भी वो आपके लिए ज़्यादा कंफर्टेबल नहीं होता. तो डोमेस्टिक यूज़ में हम यही करते हैं कि प्रॉपर डीह्यूमिडिफिकेशन से उसको अर्ली हीट अप करवाते हैं, और फिर उसको हम एवेपोरेटर के सेशन के बाद उसमें थोड़ी बहुत हीट एडअप करते हैं और उसको ह्यूमिडिफाई करवाते हैं, और फिर हम उसे आउटपुट एनवायरनमेंट में हम उसे फील करते हैं, ताकि जो रिक्वायर्ड अमाउंट ऑफ हीटिंग है वो हम उसको दे के जो रिक्वायर्ड अमाउंट ऑफ कूलिंग है वो प्रॉपर एक एयर क्वालिटी के साथ हमें अचीव हो जाए. तो बेसिकली ये इनका पर्पस होता है. और अभी आप लोग देख सकते हैं कि ये ह्यूमिडिफायर्स कम्प्लीटली वर्क कर रहे हैं. And you people can see here now what is the effect of temperature. You people can see after adding the humidity effect. T1 temperature is 28.4, T2 is 28.9, T3 is 16.3 and T4 is 16.9. On the other hand, humidity content of input air was 47.4, at point 2 it is 52.1, at T4 it is now 81.2. That means humidity content is improved. So students, this was all about the refrigeration and air conditioning lab. So first of all, I have explained the demonstration of the refrigeration unit, and then I have explained the demonstration of the air conditioning unit, and after that we have gone to the refrigeration test rig, and we have checked the effect of the refrigeration with the expansion valves and capillary tubes of different diameters, and after that we have gone to the absorption refrigeration system effect, and what is the cooling effect of the vapor absorption system, and how the aqueous mini solution behaves, and what was the possible amount of cooling effect that was generated. And after that we have studied the effect of the heat ventilation and air conditioning and fault simulator, and it was the quite interesting apparatus for you people, and if you people have a learning curve, then you people can learn many things across it. And similarly you people can see here I have turned on the heater as well, and after turning on the heater, this is the input power of the heater, that is about 1.8 kilowatt, and here you can see humidifier is also turned on, and now the temperature of the input section is duct 1 is 28.3, and you can see that input temperature of duct 1 is 28.4, but after passing through the heater section you can see it is properly heat up and showing red color. If it is visible to you people, not visible from here, it is visible from here, please see here. Yes, this one, this is the heater section, and after the heater section temperature of the input air is improved from 28.3 to 33.5. okay, and after the cooling effect we are getting 17.9, and we are also adding the humidity content within it. So this is how we can get the value of different experiments like sensible cooling only, sensible heating only, sensible cooling and dehumidification, and sensible heating and humidification effect. So now I have explained all of them in clear. Inshallah, when you people will come physically, then we will perform experiment on it as well, but for now I am turning it off. This is the main switch. So this apparatus is now completely turned off. Inshallah, in coming labs, if you people will come physically, then we will perform one day experimentation on all of these refrigeration units, and after that your midterm or final exams will be conducted for the exams. Thank you very much for your time. Students, also I will provide you people with the theory content at the Google Classroom, and 30 minutes theory explanation about the refrigeration and air conditioning, and hopefully you people will completely understand it. Here you people can see what was the effect of the adding humidity on the duct. It is completely showing the whitish shade. Thank you students, thank you very much for your time.